It rains nearly all the time here, too.
Mandeville's a prosperous town. It's done well out of the fertile farming land around it, and it's a great place for a country stroll. There's gorgeous mountain scenery, you can breathe in crisp, clear air, and just feel the peace and calm. Unless, that is, you come across a crossbow-toting, acid-throwing vigilante farmer. But he's got good reason. Jamaican farmers have lost a third of their produce through crop stealing. That's $100 million worth. Some pretty hefty scrumping.
Usually if a guy come on your farm to steal a crop, they know when your crop is ripe, right? So they come and steal what you planted, right? They ain't gonna save anything for you to survive on, right? So they're taking everything.
And how do you feel about that?
Well, I feel pretty sore about it because, like, I plant this crop to reap for my harvest, to support my family and stuff, right? And someone else reap the benefits, so. Some of these guys, when they come, they have weapons and stuff, right? And they get close to you, they want to chop you or shoot your stuff, right? So to protect yourself, you just throw this in their face or whatsoever, right?
So this is a kind of acid?
Yeah, this is a kind of acid that will do a great deal of damage, eh?
You don't think that you should let the law take care of these thieves?
Well, here in Jamaica, we don't really have a prime law in, as speaking, right? We don't have a really like a prime law that if you go to these guys, they can really come back and solve your problem, right? Like they linger about us, they don't care, right? So that's why you really have to take matters in your own hand, right?
But this isn't just a crops and robbers story. If the crop stealers manage to avoid the man-traps and crossbows, then it's time to call in the law. And this lawman has the reputation of a Dirty Harry and the nickname of a high-tech Hollywood villain. He's the Terminator.
We're trying our best to cope with these things because the police here is undermanned, we are short of staff, and we cannot be everywhere at the same time.
Can you blame the farmers for taking it onto themselves to try and stop crimes like this?
I would say no, we could not. But then again, we don't want anybody to really take it on their head because, violence begets violence, and then
you get so frustrated that you're in the position to kill. You're not in the position to ask any question, right? Because you know what physical damage they're doing to you inside, right? So, you're in the position to just destroy.
They say that Mandeville is a place for the newlywed or the nearly dead. That means you come here to get married or you come here to retire. Since I'm neither, I have to go to Kingston, Ocho Rios, Montego Bay, or Negril to party. Since I'm doing none of those this weekend, what do I do?
is a cafe lounge. It's a kind of happy hour club where people come here after work. They might grab a bite to eat and have a few drinks before they really head off somewhere else. They also have, you know, the TV. They're connected to a satellite dish. You can watch a few music videos, some sporting events, you know, that kind of thing. But it's not bad. You get a nice crowd in there sometimes. Lots of young people hang out here. Cheap form of entertainment, like it's $1 to play a game of pool, and cool, relaxed place before you go on the town, have fun. One of the few places you can go to in Mandeville when it gets really late is Planet. It's a nightclub. There's not very many people that go to nightclubs. I mean, if you really want to entertain, you might find yourself drinking all night. And I mean, it's so quiet that you end up talking to the manager and be drinking all night, and you keep the place open.
Gives you first-hand experience of Jamaica's long and winding country roads. If after 40 miles, that's about halfway between the two towns, you're feeling slightly dizzy, then you're going to be even more phased out if you arrive at this town, because this is the home of Jamaica's most unlikely minority community, the Germans of Seaford Town. Montego Bay is Jamaica's second city. Like most of the island's north coast resorts, all life here centres around tourism. In fact, this place is the Caribbean's biggest clearinghouse, importing tourists and dispatching them to all parts of the island.
Jamaica is more than a beach, it's a country, runs the advertising slogan, though some tourists will probably find that difficult to believe. Tourism is worth £400 million a year, but over half of that is generated by an increasingly popular style of hotel, the all-inclusive resort. It's debatable whether the security on the gates is there to keep locals out or residents in, because these hotels are a bit like open prisons. Theoretically, the inmates can leave anytime they choose, but somehow not many of them do. 70% of people never once set foot outside their resort during their entire stay. And why would they want to? Once they've paid over their £100 a day, everything is free. Unlimited booze, food, cigarettes, even water skiing and windsurfing. The only thing that isn't included, it seems, is Jamaica. That's the place on the other side of the fence.
We've come for a good relaxing time, really. We've got involved in all the organised games, the beach games, the pool games, out sailing and things like that. It's been the really good fun, relaxing side of it, and sunbathing.
Have you seen any of Jamaica? Have you been outside and seen a lot of Jamaica?
No, there's been too much to do here. We've tried to get everything in here.
Give me a red stripe and a coconut or whatever, and they're fine. That's their little piece of Jamaica that they want to see. I think a nice beach, a nice resort, something like this, it attracts them. And if we can keep them in here, all the better. No bad publicity for us.
Any hotel has a vested interest in keeping their guests on the premises, so they can extract as much money from them as possible. And Jamaica has long had a mostly undeserved reputation as a violent country, so it's not too difficult to persuade white tourists that if they stray too far from the safe confines of their hotel, there'll be hordes of horrid black people just waiting to jump on them. Well, actually, there are people who want to do just that, but they certainly don't want to hurt you. Hotels are not the only people interested in your dollar. Montego Bay boasts a whole squad of higglers, professional hustlers, whose only way of tapping into tourist income is to sell you something, anything.
You can enjoy yourself.
And what they need to survive is you, a fresh, gullible foreigner.
All-inclusive hotels, they're just for themselves, because if all tourists should came and be with all-inclusive hotels, the smaller people wouldn't get their share to get. So everybody got to get their share, no matter which position you're in.
Brixton or nothing, I'm which part I'm come from. I love that. Not no more. You can say every type, police,
This is where you hear patois to maximum effect on the street. Here, the Jamaican's finely tuned sense of drama comes to the fore in heated discussions and loud exchanges. And now that talent is being hoisted off the street and onto the stage.
What's up in society, everybody? Don't feel that 4,000 of people, but they can't try enough. Anybody coming out try to up the car, the man needs one attended to another kid. And with that thing to say. That's your service for all?
You little boy don't have no manners. I am coming some various hours. You go on your bed, boy, and not send no prayers. Bout you said you don't take your them flowers. But wait, you never send me no flowers yet. And me, when I don't...
Roots plays more down to earth than the standard thing. We use the language of the ghetto, you know, the language of the country people, rural areas, and that kind of thing. So you find when we play in different places, the people relate more to this. You know, the people from the ghetto, the people from the rural areas. And I guess that's part of our success.
You ever get a granny late? You ever feel a granny kiss? When I done, you think I Bruce Lee this?
Locally as offshore Jamaica because its unreconstructed hippie vibes make it unlike anywhere else in the country. Negril is an odd-shaped town, 7 miles long by only 100 yards wide, because the town is the beach. Once you get here, you can hire anything for a good time, from a boat to a jet ski to something for the ladies, our local speciality, the big bamboo. It is amazing what you can pick up in Negril. A large carved fish, last year's World Cup pennant.
Hello, how are you?
And Michael. Yes, I know that I am gorgeous, but actually he's not after me. He's far more interested in the width of my wallet. And let's hope it's broader than Broadway, because Michael doesn't come cheap. In fact, he doesn't come at all, unless I'm paying. Known as rent-a-dreads, or in this case, rent-a-boled, these guys specialize in plugging one particular gap in the tourist market. They like to personally ensure that no white woman goes home without checking out one of the oldest myths in the world.
The woman must spend the money if they need the guys. They must pay for the guys. Every expense until they leave. Yeah, every cost, for real.
Well, and the women do that, do they? They'll pay.
Yeah.
So if, let's say if you pick up a girl and she says, well, you know, I don't want to pay all this money, what happens? Do you go on to the next one?
Well, if you don't want to spend no money with you, you have to look someone who can spend some money with you. Yeah, you don't need no, if you want a poor girl, you take up a poor black girl if you need a poor black girl.
So you're not interested in poor white girls then?
No, no.
White girls have to be rich.
Yeah, they have to have money to spend.
Why do the white women come and want to sleep with black men?
Because the black guys give them all 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour. Not long, straight. Yeah, long service. Hardcore type of love.
Hardcore. Jamaica might be the home of reggae, but Negril is one of the only places where you can see a live band every night, played on specially for tourists. And where there are tourists, there will also be Rent-a-Dread Incorporated. So if you didn't find anything that took your fancy on the beach, which given the quality of the talent is hardly surprising, you might get lucky tonight. On the other hand, you could just settle for the person that you came with.
Man, you gotta even think about it. You couldn't afford me anyway.
That's not what I've heard, Rose. That's not what I've heard.
Playing the rain together, the feeling is on forever. The memory